All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some cooking show, starring me, that guy you know. Today, we're going to be doing something dumb. And I don't mean dumb as in this is silly and therefore amusing. No, I mean actually dumb. This is by everyone's best, most reasonable judgments, is a stupid thing to do. So today we're cooking this, which is pretty innocuous as it stands, you know, unsuspecting, until you flip it over and look inside, and right down there, what's that? So it's either best before the 5th of July of 2009, or it's the 9th of July 2005. Now I suspect it's the 1st. But regardless, this is at least 11 years past the best before date. This has been frozen the entire time. So yeah, we're gonna fry this up and give it a try. And if I die, it'll be on camera at least, I guess. I don't suspect that will happen. So come with me and find out how terrible this situation will be. So, I'm just gonna fry this up, give it a taste, and we'll see how it goes. So you can already tell right away by smelling the package that the plastic has started leaching that terrible plastic flavor that I'm sure you're familiar with. We'll see how much actually went in. I don't know how, I know that this stuff doesn't actually absorb flavors very well, so maybe that'll work in its favor. Maybe I should put the knife in the correct direction. Well, it still smells like dog food, so success. So far, that's a positive sign. Alright, so I'm just going to stir this up and then let it cook for a bit, and then we'll come back and see. Oh yeah, it smells pretty plasticky cooking it, but I'm starting to regret this already. But I've already committed. So, if you want to know what this smells like, it's already lost the scent of the regular ground round. But if you want to know what it smells like, take a non-freezer bag, sandwich bag, like Ziploc bag, put it in your freezer, and then pull it out in about 6 months, and then smell it. That's what this smells like. But that's more of a reflection on the packaging than the actual food. So maybe the food itself is okay. I don't know, this is all speculation right now. I'm sure you're excited to see whether or not I'm going to die. You're all excited. Place your bets now. The house will take 30% because I get to decide that. So, while we're waiting, I feel like kind of providing some don't lean on the stove. They could be on, and that would be bad. This one's obviously, you know what I mean. So when cooking veggie meat, if you've never done it before, the key is more to cook it slowly on a lower heat than you would with meat. And that's just because it's already partially cooked, so it has a tendency to burn a lot faster. So, you know, you'll always get the person who throws a frozen veggie patty on a grill with the rest of the hamburgers, because hamburgers are delicious and we should eat regular hamburgers. But if you're feeling like mixing things up, you know, you get that person who wants to just throw it on the grill, crank the burner up, close it, comes back, wonders why it's burnt. This is a terrible this is a terrible product, I don't know what's burnt. Well, it's not the same thing, so you shouldn't cook it the same way. So the ground round, and basically every veggie patty I've come across, cook it slowly at a lower heat, and then you'll be much happier with what you get. Not like a low heat, but just lower. Or alternatively, you have to be more on top of it and flip it or stir it more often. So I have no idea how it will taste, but the acoustics are solid. Well, best be careful. It would be embarrassing if you burnt it after what you just said. So embarrassing. No one likes it. So I've decided I'm going to overcook this a little bit. I don't know. Safety-wise, overcooking it a little bit seems logical. However, that would interfere with the experiment. So, I can't tell you what this smells like, but I can tell you it no longer smells like food, dog or otherwise. Much stirring later. Okay, I'm going to call that done. More zoom! Alright, so we're going to give it a try now. I mean, appearance-wise, it looks okay, and that's something. That would be hilarious if I just burned the flesh in my mouth and could never speak again. It's really salty. So, I mean, that would explain why it doesn't smell like anything. It just is salty. Is it supposed to be like this? Maybe Yves knows. I don't remember it tasting like this. Of the ground beefs, Schneider's used to make a veggie ground beef that was pretty good. I'm not a vegetarian, but I do know many vegetarians. And it's sad that it's gone, because it used to absorb the flavor and have a very similar to ground beef texture. Anyway, this tastes okay. I'm going to see if I can make something that actually tastes okay out of it. Maybe like a shepherd's pie thing? It seems like a lot of work for 8 o'clock at night. But it's so salty, I don't know what else, like I could make like a ground substance stroganoff or something. Well, I guess we'll find out over time whether or not this actually did harm to me, but I mean, so far, if you like this, and it's been in your freezer for a long time, if your freezer's been at an appropriate temperature, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to recommend you eat this. I can't. Like, not flavor-wise, not. It's just I can't. Like, it would be irresponsible of me to say eat things that are 11 years old in your freezer. I can't. Like, Oh no, the taste lingers in your mouth. Okay, I need to get some water. Okay, so shepherd's pie thing it is. I just washed this by hand and want to make sure there's no soap film in it because that is not healthy to eat, and it doesn't taste very good. So a little while ago I diced up a bunch of potatoes, so this will be an entirely pre-frozen dinner. Well, maybe not entirely. I'll probably throw some seasoning in that wasn't frozen because freezing seasoning would be weird. Which is exactly why I do it. Actually, let me just... I mean, I have other frozen things. But anyway. No frozen spices. Maybe I should get this bag out of this pot. No, that would be intelligent, and that's not allowed. Not allowed on this channel. Only dumb things. Dumb people. Which is why I am doing this. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache. I'm not sure if it's from this or just from not drinking enough water today. I suspect it's from the food. Concern. So, I'm getting a bit of a headache now. It's only been about 2 minutes, and I had a very small amount, though it was just sitting, tasting in my mouth for quite some time. It might just be because it's salty. I'm strongly considering throwing it out now, though. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out. Maybe it's the smell. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna try going outside and then coming back in. Yeah, sorry guys. So, it might just be the smell, I don't know. But I'm not gonna be eating the whole thing in the event that I find partway through cooking these potatoes that I'm going to have to then throw out all of it. Not just the stuff that probably should have been thrown out in the first place. Alright, now we're going to try the 4-year-old stuff. Alright, I don't know what that was. So, we are going to try this, which is, as you can tell by the packaging, considerably newer. This is, I believe, similar if not the same as the modern design. Best before August 2018. Oh wait. So it's either 2018 or 2021. If we go by the same rules as last time, then it's still good. If we go by the worst case, it's probably still fine because it's only 2 years and frozen the whole time. But if the left number is the year, then I just ate 15-year-old garbage. 15-year-old garbage. That's what, yeah, I'm not going to make that joke. So, I just noticed it would seem that they moved to a package that looks a lot bigger, but is actually smaller, so they can sell less better. I do like that it's broken up, because having one giant piece is a bit ridiculous. But it does not need to have an air gap that you can fit 2 fingers in between. And I don't have small fingers. Maybe I should have turned the stove on for the potatoes. There's still some in my mouth. Need to put that somewhere else. So this one already smells considerably less plasticky. I am suspecting that this one is in fact like very recent. These were given to me because someone just wanted to get stuff out of their freezer, and I was like, okay. Oddly, it does just smell less. I'm sure when I cook it, it's going to start smelling more, but that sort of dog foody smell is considerably more muted, or whatever the term is for smelling. Not that I can't use artistic license. I don't recommend it raw. So I don't know if they changed the ingredients or if it was just because of the age of the other one, but it does smell different, and it has more of a scent, and that it isn't plasticky smelling, which is a positive sign. But and it does smell like food, kind of like mushrooms and pepper and garlic. Very light on the mushroom. I don't know. I don't even think there are mushrooms in there. Let me look. I can confirm there are in fact no mushrooms in here, which will definitely make the mushroom-averse people quite happy to hear. But if you're averse to mushrooms, maybe don't be a vegetarian, because so many things are seasoned with mushrooms. But, or at least used to, never mind, you're probably fine. My advice, if you don't have to be, don't be a vegetarian. I'm gonna give this a try. It's not as salty, and that's probably a good thing. But that other flavor that's in there, it might not actually taste better than the 11-year-old one, which would be sad. I'm not about to eat them side by side because I just threw it in the garbage can. Well, if you insist. No, I'm not doing that. I refuse to do that. I have a limit to how many stupid things I'm doing in a day, intentionally. No more. Yeah. So, shepherd's pie. Let's see, what should I put in it? So since this tastes okay, I'm going to put maybe a mix of small vegetables in, also frozen. Want pepper in the shepherd's pie. Meat would be good. Some salt in the potato mix. I mean, maybe even some milk. Speak of the devil. The devil is potatoes. Okay, so apparently I didn't. It went from 0 to 100 very quickly, so I should have opened the lid faster there. But that happens when you're doing YouTube videos at the same time. Sometimes it just happens anyway. The nice thing about boiling potatoes from frozen is, rather than boiling the water then adding the potatoes, because they're so cold to start with, if you thaw them as you bring the water to a boil, they will almost be cooked by the time it's boiling, and it will vary depending on how hot the burner is. This one is kind of crappy, so maybe not so great, and I'm monologuing rather than stirring. intense stir. I just suckered you in with a ridiculous stunt, and now you have to watch me while I make my own dinner. Vegetarian food. I just realized, was there a point to adding vegetables to the vegetable thing? I mean, isn't that like stirring dirt into mud? And to be fair, this does taste considerably better than dirt, but, I mean, I haven't tried all dirts. Can I really say that? I don't know, what do you think? It's probably better than dirt. It's at least saltier than dirt, and that is a good thing. Well, again, there's some salty stuff, like salty sand, salty... I could just put salt in dirt, and there's different salt... Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's check the potatoes. Yep, those are definitely done. And for those of you who, for some reason, have never cooked potatoes before, they cook faster when you dice them, obviously. And you can tell when they're done without putting it in your mouth by sticking a fork, and if it slides through it nicely, it's done. But I mean, if it's really overdone, this will probably have broken in half. Still maintains its form. Are you ready for the steam? Mashing them while they're hot is definitely the way to go. About a teaspoon of salt. Sorry, not a teaspoon. About a quarter teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of salt is a lot of salt. But that much salt is fine if you're making like a huge amount, but as you can see, it's maybe a third of the pot of potatoes. Let's stir this. I'm going to stir the veggie meat with one hand and whip these with another hand. Aha! No. Are you ready? On the count of one. Stir, whip, 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 stir. Moving on. That's not needed at all. How to make food with one hand. Okay, you don't really need to watch me do this the whole time. So, before you're done with the potatoes, make sure that you don't let them dry out too much, because then it will be much harder to stir in everything else. Right at the beginning is when you put the butter in, because unlike milk, it's not going to cool it down. Now, after a very minorly traumatic event involving pepper and containers of differing size and gravity, I now have some pepper that I can put in here. Now this is already seasoned with garlic and stuff, and I could throw some things in, but I don't know, it's 9 o'clock, I don't really feel like, well, I cooked it. If you want to cook it with spices, you have to cook it with the spices, not add the spices after. You can, but then they're going to be really hard, especially rosemary. Why are you so hard, rosemary? Gosh, keep it in your pants. So why am I not adding margarine? Well, I don't really need the extra fat, given we've all been sitting around at home doing basically nothing. I've been trying to keep up on some exercises, but it's difficult because you can't do... Anyway, you don't care about that. Anyway. Should I have done this with a spoon? Yes. But I had originally planned on doing the stir whip thing some more. But I'm not going to. Alright, so it is decently whipped and definitely mashed. Sufficiently salty, especially since that's super salty. How many things can I multitask doing? I don't know. If I had more arms, I could tell you. The answer is one. The answer is one, by the way. I can only do one thing at a time. Alright, so normally what you would do is then combine these two in a tray and then put it into the oven and bake it for a bit. Whether it's meat or fake meat, same thing. But instead, I'm going to do an alternative, and I have two options here on which I could put these into, but I'm going to choose the worst option, because although we've hit my cap for stupid things for the day that are really stupid, but not for just absurd and making a mess things, because it's for your entertainment. Clap, damn it. Now it just sounds like I'm supporting chlamydia. That's not good. This is less I added a bit more milk than ideal. It's a little bit sticky, but I couldn't be bothered to measure anything out, and it still tastes just fine. So voila, magnifique. I'll go to bed.